Hare Krishna. So, got some click. So we will just chant the, let's see, it's not so many devotees in the temple room today. We've already heard Jai Radha Madhav, so I think we'll just go ahead and move on to the class. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully this will work properly. Let me just see how this goes. All right, so I think everyone can see what's on the screen. Yes, okay. Okay, so we're today is the auspicious occasion of Lord Nityananda's appearance, and we are going to discuss a little bit about his activities. You hear me okay, Prabhu? Not so well? Adi Purush?
Could be a little louder.
Okay. So today we're going to discuss the appearance of Lord Nityananda. Haribol, Lord Nityananda Bhagavatam Jai. Okay, and I'm having some challenges here with my screen, but anyway, let's make it smaller. All right, there we go. Let's do that. Okay, so yes, a lot of the world is preparing for Valentine's Day, which is coming up in a few days. So, which is considered a day of love. But what is real love? So, we're going to discuss about Lord Nityananda, who is actually the personification of real love, willing to make sacrifice for everyone, actually, at the expense of his own personal prestige and even his own bodily well-being. So we're going to look at a verse today from the Adi Leela, chapter 8, text 31. So this may seem like an unusual, Hare Krishna, unusual chapter, considering the fifth chapter is all about Lord Nityananda, but this interesting and nice verse, and Prabhupada really places great emphasis and importance on worship of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. So we'll start with the invocation. Everyone can chant together. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So this verse, CC Adi 831, Chaitanya Nityananda Nahi Esha Bhavichar. Chaitanya Nityananda Nahi Esa Bhavichar. Namalaite Prema Dena Vahe Ashrudar. Namalaite Prema Dena Vahe Ashrudar. Okay, so the synonyms, Chaitanya Nityananda. When chanting the holy names of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Nahi, there are not. He Sabha, all these. Vichara, considerations. Nama, the holy name. Laite, simply by chanting. Prema, love of Godhead. Dena, they give. Vahe, there is a flow. Ashrudara, tears in the eyes. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. But if one only chants with some slight faith the holy names of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, very quickly he is cleansed of all offenses. Thus, as soon as he chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he feels the ecstasy of love for God. Sounds like a good program, right? Jai. Lord Nityananda Ki. Okay, so the purport is quite long, but very, very valuable and important. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks in this connection that if one takes shelter of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, follows their instructions to become more tolerant than the tree and humbler than the grass, and in this way chants the holy name of the Lord, very soon he achieves the platform of transcendental loving service to the Lord, and tears appear in his eyes. There are offenses to be considered in the chanting and the Hare Krishna and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but there are no such considerations in chanting the names of Gaura Nityananda. Therefore, if one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but his life is still full of sinful activities, it will be very difficult for him to achieve the platform of loving service to the Lord. Interesting, huh? But if in spite of being an offender, one chants the holy names of Gaura Nityananda, he is very quickly freed from the reactions to these offenses. Therefore, one should first approach Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, or worship Guru Gauranga, and then come to the stage of worshiping Radha Krishna. In our Krishna consciousness movement, our students are first advised to worship Guru Gauranga. So in case you didn't know, Guru Gauranga means Nityananda Gauranga. And then when they are somewhat advanced, the Radha Krishna deity is installed and they are engaged in the worship of the Lord. One should first take shelter of Gaura Nityananda in order to reach, ultimately, Radha Krishna. In the beginning, one should very regularly chant Sri Gaurasundar's holy name and then chant the holy name of Lord Nityananda. Thus, one's heart will be cleansed of impure desires for material enjoyment. Then one can approach Vrindavan Dham to worship Lord Krishna. Unless one is favored by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, there is no need to go to Vrindavan. For unless one's mind is purified, he cannot see Vrindavan, even if he goes there. I think that one already. For an ordinary man, worship of Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu or the Panchatattva is easier than worship of Radha and Krishna. Unless one is very fortunate, he should not be induced to worship Radha Krishna directly. A neophyte student who is not sufficiently educated or enlightened should not indulge in the worship of Sri Radha and Krishna or the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Even if he does so, he cannot get the desired result. One should therefore chant the names of Nitai, Gaur, and worship them without false prestige. Since everyone within this material world is more or less influenced by sinful activities, in the beginning it is essential that one take to the worship of Guru Gauranga and ask their favor. For thus, despite all his disqualifications, one will very soon become qualified to worship the Radha Krishna Vigraha. It should be noted in this connection that the holy names of Lord Krishna and Gaurasundar are both identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not consider one name to be more potent than the other. Considering the position of the people of this age, however, the chanting of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name is more essential than the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most magnanimous incarnation and his mercy is very easily achieved. Therefore, one must first take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. By serving Gaura Nityananda, one is freed from the entanglements of material existence and thus becomes qualified to worship the Radha Krishna deity. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patiranam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So some very interesting instructions here from Srila Prabhupada. The main, and we'll come to a little bit of time for some questions. But the main point seems to be a great emphasis is placed on chanting the names of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and giving them prominence in the beginning, especially of our spiritual practice and the spiritual practice of others whom we bring to Krishna. I know often we chant people the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and not always do we teach them the Panchatattva Mahamantra. I don't know if anyone else has that experience. We just usually go straight to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for most people who come. And then after a little time, we teach them the Panchatattva mantra because Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Govardha Bhakta Vrinda is not the easiest mantra to teach a brand new person. Whereas Hare Krishna, Hare Rama is 4 different words and can generally be picked up quite quickly. But we see here that it's according to Srila Prabhupada, who's quoting from the Acharyas, and there are different comments that are made in other places, that it's so vitally important that we approach the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is non-different from Radha and Krishna, the deity of Radha and Krishna, through Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And especially, we've maybe heard this before, but if you want to get the mercy of Krishna, you have to go through Srimati Radharani. Only Srimati Radharani can, she's like looking out there, who can I bring to Krishna? And if you want to get to Srimati Radharani, you have to go through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, because he is the manifestation of Krishna in the mood of Shri Radhika. So, but if you want to get to Lord Chaitanya, you have to go through Lord Nityananda. So for us, it starts with Lord Nityananda, actually, because Lord Nityananda, although Lord Chaitanya is known as Namo Mahavaranyaya, he is the savior of the most fallen, the most magnanimous, but actually Lord Chaitanya has proven that he is the savior of the most fallen, because he didn't want to just go and save anyone. We know the amazing pastime that he went to save specifically the most degraded of the degraded, who were Jagai and Madai, because he knew that they deserved the mercy of Lord Chaitanya the most. Actually, if we see, Lord Chaitanya often spent a lot of time preaching to or giving his association to quite elevated, prestigious people. But Lord Nityananda, he went to the lowest of the low. And in one lecture, Srila Prabhupada says, in the Western world, everyone is Jagai and Madai. So we're all Jagai and Madais. And, maybe not all of us, but definitely I am in that category. So approaching Radha and Krishna through Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, this is the appropriate consciousness and the appropriate means. Not that we, Prabhupada would often say, not that we try to jump ahead, jump over, jump through the first 9 cantos to get to the 10th canto, that we should feel ourselves disqualified and can only be qualified through the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And of course, Lord Nityananda represents, as we heard several times, it was referred to as Guru and Gauranga. So Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda represents also, he is the manifestation of Guru, because he is Balaram, and Balaram is the Adi Guru. So Lord Nityananda also the Adi Guru. So by the mercy of Guru, we get Lord Nityananda. And by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we get Lord Chaitanya. And by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we can approach Shrimati Radharani. And then by Radharani's mercy, we can serve Krishna, only with her blessings and her permission, her granting. So like this. So yeah, I was thinking on this point that was reminded of when I got initiated. I remember because my name before was James, and I was thinking, I don't want a Jai name. I don't want one of those Jai names. And then at initiation, my Guru Maharaj said, your name is Jai Nitai Das. And I remember thinking, oh no, I got a Jai name. And I was actually feeling like a little kind of disappointed. And I was thinking, oh, I got a Jai name. And it's also initiation. At initiation, it's such an intense thing that you don't even remember what your name is. Usually just like, I got the beads, I said the vows, and and I just walk away. But I was thinking like that. And then all of a sudden afterwards, loads of devotees started going, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai. And I was thinking, wow, I keep hearing the name of Lord Nityananda. This is like magnanimous for me. And then I realized that my guru gave me a name that was beneficial for me, because if everyone keeps saying Jai Nitai, maybe I'll get some mercy from Lord Nityananda. So of course, I'm Jai Nitai Das. And, but the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Then I realized also how powerful it is when other people, they get the mercy of Lord Nityananda also by chanting that name. And some years later, we went to the bank of the Ganges. Oh God, I can't believe I just forgot the name. Where Raghava Pandit Prabhu's Panihati. Thank you. Yeah, we went to Panihati, and we got out of the vehicle, and we were going into the temple of Janavamata and Lord Nityananda, and there's a big sign over the archway. And as soon as we got out of the van, everyone started going, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? I didn't know I was so famous. People were making and then one of the boys said, no, it's not for you, Prabhu. He said, see that sign there? It says Jai Nitai. Or actually, it doesn't say Jai Nitai, it says Joy Nitai. Joy Nitai. So Jai Nitai is like joy Nitai. And I was speaking with Achuta Gopi Devi, who will be here this evening, and she was saying, yes, you got such a great name, because in my house all day we're chanting Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai. So her house is like that. So anyway, so very nice. So we can approach the Lord through Lord Nityananda by the mercy of the spiritual master. So we have to understand who is Lord Nityananda. So I had a few things prepared actually, but we will, let me see, maybe I'll stop here. I can come back to this. And I'm also going to change this and just see if anyone at this point has any oops, wait a minute. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, yeah, anyone has any questions or comments so far? Can
Boy, Krishna. Thank you for ecstatic class this morning, Jai Nitai. And my question is what your thoughts are on the kind of practical outreach applications and like introducing Krishna, and usually multiple avatars is a foreign concept to most people. So like introducing, okay, this is Krishna, the mantra, but recognizing that for them to really progress, maybe that then we have to gradually introduce like, okay, you approach through Srimati Radharani, you get that grace through Sri Chaitanya, and you get that grace through Lord Nityananda. Like, what are your thoughts on how to gradually bring people to that stage?
Hopefully everyone heard the question. The idea is what, given what Srila Prabhupada has said in this purport, you may think, oh my goodness, we need to rethink our entire process. So instead of bring people to Hare Krishna Kirtan, we bring them to Gaura Nityananda Kirtan, Gaura Nityananda. Which is interesting because if you listen to Gail, I'll come to you in just 1 minute. If you listen to lots of the early kirtans, then Vishnu Jan Swami, he was on Gaur Nityananda Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Gaur Chikadadhar Bo Hari Bo Hari. He was chanting all these. Of course, I think maybe Prabhupada stopped that after. But but anyway, chanting those names and bringing people to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya in an atmosphere where multiple personalities can be confusing for new people, and you just want to take a direct approach. So, Srila Prabhupada has put this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the PhD of spiritual life, but it's also there for us to understand that it is a necessity and a requirement in approach. At the same time, we see what Srila Prabhupada did himself in practicality was he taught everyone to chant Hare Krishna. But I was listening recently to some of the first lectures in 26 Second Avenue, and Srila Prabhupada was speaking about Gaur Nitai, but also Lord Chaitanya, of course, also speaking about the six Goswamis and bringing people in, educating them of the history. And so also explaining that, Lord Chaitanya introduced this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and familiarizing, and there's the picture of the Panchatattva that was there also very early on. So it's not that Prabhupada didn't give that and didn't give it a special significance, teaching the Panchatattva mantra, although the kirtan that we listened to at the beginning of the Wednesday meditations, no one repeats the Panchatattva Mahamantra. Prabhupada sings it 3 times because no one knew it. But it's not that he didn't give it. So it was there, but then everyone would chant Hare Krishna together. So I don't think it's that we need to necessarily change our approach, but we also need to understand how important it is that for our own progress as well, we should be careful not to try to jump ahead without understanding our process, that the process has been given to us by Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, and we have to approach Radha Krishna worship and the chanting of the holy name. So therefore, maybe one thing I took away from this was that instead of, and different devotees do different things, and I've heard different things from different people. Sometimes before every round, people chant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda. And a lot of people were shaking their head, yes. That wasn't how I was taught, and also a lot of people I spoke to said Prabhupada never did that. So I don't know. I'm not saying I wasn't there if someone knows different. But at the same time, there's a place in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Prabhupada says you can chant rounds of the Panchatattva Mahamantra. So of course there's no harm. You can chant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya after every mantra, if you like. So there is no necessarily no harm. But for me, it was like before when I chant that Jai Shri Krishna, to really chant it and take shelter of Lord Chaitanya and the Panchatattva, Lord Nityananda. So really, really understanding that I don't have access to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Were it not for the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, so please let me take shelter of that name. I don't know if that answers your question. Okay, Gail, you had your hand raised first.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Hare.
Well, I do have a question, but first to follow up on what you were just saying, that, I first heard from Niranjan Swami that Srila Prabhupada also never said that we must precede every round by the Panchatattva, just from the beginning. And also, Jayaveda Maharaj, in his newest book, which I forget the name of, he makes a point of mentioning that too, that's one of the common myths of ISKCON, that we have to chant the Panchatattva before every round. So that's there. But my question is, when we say that in order to get the mercy of this divine personality, we have to get the mercy of this other divine personality, and on, right? To get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and you have to get mercy of Guru, to get the mercy of, like this, Guru, Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, and so on. So when we say to get to one, you have to get the mercy of the other. What does that practically mean? I need a translation for that.
You need a translation to that. Okay.
Yeah, I need an English translation for the English.
I'll give you the Sanskrit translation first. Gopi Bhartur Padakamala Yor Das Anudas, which basically means that if we want to approach the Lord, we have to go through the servants of the servants of the servants and consider ourselves in that mood. So actually, this is the mood of Trinadapi Sunichena, humility, that we understand that in order to approach a greater person, we have to go through a person who is serving that person. And that, I think, is a short answer to and a translation of the mood, that we have to go to and approach with that humility that, Gurudev, I'm approaching you and trying to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Nityananda, recognizing ourselves far removed from the qualification of approaching Krishna directly. Prabhupada often gives the example, if you want to see the president or the prime minister, you're going to have to go through their secretary or, whoever is organizing their schedule, you can't go directly. Prabhupada says there, unless one is very fortunate, in the purport, he said, unless one is very fortunate, one cannot approach Radha Krishna directly. So we shouldn't necessarily consider ourselves fortunate in that way. We should think that I'm unfortunate and therefore I need to beg for the mercy of these different personalities in order to get the qualification to approach these other persons. And my qualification, as Prabhupada also said in one place, he said to all of his disciples, he said, you have no qualification. He said, I made your qualification. I created your qualification. I am your qualification. So in that way, we can approach. Does that make a little bit of sense?
Yes, I appreciate your bringing in that humility aspect of it. But my only last question would be, well, for one thing, we want to approach the only reason, right? The singular reason that we have for wanting to approach any of these personalities is for service, right?
I mean, that should be, yes.
Yeah. So, on days when, like today, for example, or Srimati Radharani's appearance day, when we are encouraged to pray to them directly. You know, there are certain days when we're encouraged to pray to them directly. So how is that justified?
Yeah. So I was in a lecture once with His Holiness Satyananda Maharaj. He was explaining that on these days, the appearance days of different avatars are different exalted personalities, acharyas in our line. These days are like special portal days where we have, I seem to remember him saying like, anyway, a percentage, like 1% access to these personalities by meditating on them on these days. Of course, that access is there any day. And they're glorified in an extra special and exorbitant way on their appearance days. So you could say there's extra special mercy. The point is not to become like confused or agitated in any way that, oh God, I can't just chant Hare Krishna now, I got to do a whole bunch of other stuff. That's not the point. The point is that we consider what is the process and the proper process or for approaching the Hare Krishna mantra, which is in the mood of humility. And if we remember these other personalities in doing that, that will definitely create and help to generate that mood. I remember when I first joined, I was, not such a person of great cleanliness or mode of goodness. But I wanted to do service, and I remember asking the devotees, I wanted to clean. And so every day they were asking for volunteers to clean the temple room. And every time I'd finish eating and I'd be like, okay, let's start cleaning. And they'd be like, no, you have to go wash your hands and mouth. And I'd be like, why do I got to wash my hands and mouth? I'm just going to put my hands in the bucket and clean the floor. And, you think like this, it's all clean, it's all one, it's all whatever. But they kept saying, you got to go wash your hands and mouth. So every time I would walk up the steps thinking, why do I have to wash my hands and mouth? It's so stupid. I got to wash my hands to clean Krishna's floor. Okay, I just want to clean the floor. I'm going to clean the floor. I'll clean my hands with the water I'm cleaning, trying to make some explanation. Then one day, as I was washing my hands and washing my mouth, I was thinking, to wash Krishna's floor, I have to be clean, because to do service for Krishna, you have to be clean. And all of a sudden I realized I'm washing my hands and mouth while remembering Krishna and remembering Krishna's service. And I realized just the process of washing my hands and mouth was actually purifying me, because my consciousness was becoming purified. And then all of a sudden it was like this eureka moment for me, like, oh my God, this whole thing works. The process actually works. All I have to do is wash my hands. And then I became ecstatic. Then you can imagine what I started doing was anyone who wanted to do service, I'd be like, first you have to wash your hands and mouth. So this is the parampara system. So the point being that if we do these things, it helps us. So not that we should get bewildered by it. I hope that helps, Gail.
Yeah, so you're saying on the special days, we our mood should still be that I have to approach through one personality or another, or because of the special day, I can just go directly. I'm not.
We should always have the mood of humility in our approach to these personalities. Even Lord Nityananda, especially even the spiritual master. So it's always the mood of humility. But on these special days, yes, the door is open and you can run directly and just embrace with all your heart.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, a few other people had their hands raised before. So Krishna Kumari and then Bhima and also Adi Purushpuru is here in the temple. Krishna Kumari Devi.
Jai Nitai, Nityananda Ram, Haribol.
Lord Nityananda ki jai.
Yeah, wow, Jai Nitai. So, just want to chant the names of Nityananda today. I don't really care what the rules are right now. I have a great appreciation for Gauravani that I wanted to share. For many years, where I live is considered the Bhajan belt. And so there's been lots of kirtaniers, and it was always quite, funny that people would just chant the Maha Mantra without the Panchatattva. And so for Manohar and others, Gauravani was able to break up the Panchatattva mantra in such a nice way. So maybe like listen to his way of breaking it up so people can do it in parts. It's really nice. And yeah, I love to chant Ko Nityananda Haribol, Haribol. And I will never stop chanting the Panchatattva mantra before each round. So I don't know. It sounds like the best idea ever. Yeah, the song Nitai Padakamala, it's all about calling out to Nityananda. So I'd love to imbibe the mood of that, and yeah, just thinking about Nityananda and just how magnanimous he was, even as a child. He enacted all the pastimes of the demons and Krishna and Balaram, and yeah, just thinking about how he's non-different from Balaram and Lakshman, and then Anantashesh, and all the paraphernalia of Krishna. Yeah, it's a glorious day. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Lord Nityananda ki jai.
Hi.
Okay. Bhima will come to you in just one moment. First, we're going to go to Adi Parush Prabhu. Okay, Bhima, you've been given permission to go.
Oh, good. Permission.
Been granted blessings.
Yeah. I usually like to just interject, that kid in the classroom who doesn't even bother raising his hand.
Okay.
Yeah. I one time took a bottle and smashed it up the side of Nityananda's head, and screamed at the audience and scared the little kids. And despite that, and actually a little bit of blood was it was a Hollywood bottle made out of it was a big vase made out of candy, made out of sugar candy, so it looked exactly like a bottle. And it was, of course, I'm talking about a play when I played Mud Eye.
Oh.
And it was wild because nobody, of course, knew that bottle was a Hollywood bottle until one of the kids picked up a piece and tasted it. But it was wild because in the end I had to plead. I had my hands folded. I was on my knees and I was pleading Lord Chaitanya, who was played by the temple president at the time, and Nityananda was played by Amarendra Das. If anybody knows him, he's just an unbelievable devotee, and he was, forcing me to chant Hare Krishna, and I had a good drunk on at the time, and I just didn't want to be bothered, so I let him have the bottle. And afterwards, when I was on my knees, because I saw that Shuddashan chakra, and I knew that was the end of it for me, I was forgiven, and I just felt that that special connection with Nityananda, that even rascals are invited to join in and be saved. That despite that Yamaraj cannot keep up with the archives of our sins, that Nityananda, in simply by asking Lord Chaitanya, accept this fool, he does not know what he does. He knows not what he does. That I've always loved Nityananda. The idea, I don't know who Nityananda is at all, but the idea of Nityananda, that is all grace to all people at all times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your beautiful interjection. And we're waiting for you to be in a drama again, playing Lord Nityananda next time.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Glory to Prabhupada. So we're praying to Srila Prabhupada what to say. Our own experience. I was reading a couple of Srila Prabhupada's books and some PDGs that I found, and I began to chant for a long time, several months. And then I looked in the book and I thought, I wonder if there's anybody else doing this. And I found the address of the Brooklyn Temple, Henry Street Temple, 1973. So I went there, and a devotee immediately gave me the Panchatattva mantra.
Hmm.
I'll take it.
It's all right, you're on this.
Oh, you
one.
got it?
Yeah, well,
It's going all over the place.
you can hold it if you want.
Immediately gave us the Panchatattva mantra. Immediately, as soon as I came in the temple, I was like, okay, I wrote it down and then started to chant it in the kirtan. And then I went to one program and then I hitchhiked to New Vrindavan and I moved in. That was it. I was there for decades. But the point is that the devotees are distributing, at least some of them that I know, Panchagoda, Panchagoda Prabhu, he's the temple president, Krishna Balaram Mandir. He stays with us when he comes to New York in the guest program. He'd been distributing. He did 15 years in the temple in Miami, distributing books, and then temple president, Vrindavan, India, and then back to New York and distributing books here. And then back again, they called him back. He's been serving again for years and years as temple president in Vrindavan. Now, when they distribute books, maybe people know this, maybe they think it's weird or, but it's a fact. This is decades of distributing books. But Orion Prabhu, Mathura, they all do this. They talk to people, ask them for a donation, and then they say, now we're going to chant the victory mantra. And even when they're speaking to like 4 or 5, I've seen Bud Orion do this with 10 people. All right, now we're going to chant. All right, Jai Nitai Gaur. I'm like, first time I turned around, I was working at incoming at a Yankees game, and Bud Orion was in the next vehicle, and I heard these people go, Jai Nitai Gaur, and then again, Jai Nitai Gaur. He said, now when you say Gaur, you throw your hands in the air. There's these 3 kids in a pickup truck going, Jai Nitai Gaur, Jai Nitai Gaur. And I was like, what? They give them Jai Nitai Gaur, and then they give them the book. They said, this is a book about filling your life with the service of God. It's a very beautiful book. After they get the donation, after they get them to chant Jai Nitai Gaur, then they give them the book. And they do this all day long to every person. And just interesting to know that that is going on. And I was always very shocked. I was shocked, and I continue to be shocked when I see that happening. But it's definitely the holy name. And so Krishna is appearing like this. Krishna is so wonderful that he's appearing in this merciful, easily accessible form. And the devotees are giving this out. And Gail asked a wonderful question. I was personally present when somebody asked Prabhupada the same question. Why do we have to go through this person? And Prabhupada said, this is Krishna's arrangement, and Krishna is pleased by this. If we approach him through the servant of his servant. That's what he said, 2 things. This is Krishna's arrangement, and Krishna is pleased if we do it like this. So anyway, just a small contribution to a wonderful class by Jai Nitai Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Gaur Prabhupada.
Jai Nitai Gaur. Okay. All right. So there were about 35 more slides that I had to go through, but we have 2 minutes. So we'll skip that. No, I'm just kidding. It's unlimited. Okay, so we have 2 minutes before, theoretically, 2 minutes before the conch goes. Let me just see here. Yeah, anyone else has any other comments? No one else raised their hand. Jagannath Gopal Guru, you look like you're in deep reflection. Would you like to share anything?
Thank you for the class. Yeah, Nityananda Prabhu is very special. And heard some devotees say that Mahaprabhu did class preaching, Nityananda Prabhu did mass preaching. So, sorry, what was that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You heard say that again?
So I heard from some devotees, like they put it in a poetic way. Mahaprabhu did class preaching, Nityananda Prabhu did mass preaching.
Oh, okay.
So,
Class preaching and mass preaching.
yeah, but thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. And
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot. Anyone else in the temple room? Domi, anything you would like to share? I can repeat, but it's on here.
I'm just grateful for actually you and my dad to help us and do the welcome ceremony for Gurmat as Serenity. And second was in New York, you really feel that mercy of Nitai because you literally myself I've seen Jaga my type of people in New York. So I feel so fortunate to be in the city because I can understand, you can comprehend just 1% better of how merciful Guanitai is by seeing myself and by seeing Maya right in front of me. And so that's my comment.
Beautiful. So in case anyone didn't hear, then Domi feels very fortunate to be in New York amongst all the Jagai and Madhais because she gets to see the immense and extreme mercy of Lord Chaitanya every day. Yeah, that's beautiful actually, because when you think about it, you can see that Srila Prabhupada was definitely in the mood of Lord Nityananda. Okay, so because he came to the Lower East Side to preach. Okay, so I'm going to leave the meeting and open up the next one. Hari Hari. Thank you very much, Lord Nityananda Ki Jai.
Jai Nitai Prabhu Ki Jai.
Spiritual Master, only way by which we can obtain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. Take shelter at your lotus feet. Jai.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. Dear devotees, thank you very much. Okay, would anyone like to speak? There's a question in the chat. Jagannath Gopal Prabhu, would you like to answer? It's from Krishna Gauda. He's wondering if Yata Drishti Tata Shrishti is coming from scriptures or it's a concoction.
So Subhashita itself is some kind of, I looked into this, I didn't find a scripture, but Subhashita itself could be considered one kind of a scripture. But the authors of Subhashita are unknown, but many of these Subhashitas are taken from the commentaries of various great souls in the Indian spiritual traditions. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and the principle can be found in the scriptures. So
Yeah.
you see according to your consciousness. That's what Krishna consciousness is all about. Changing your vision or getting the right vision. So the principle is valid, Krishna Gauda. you can apply it. Okay, he's grateful. All right. So I have a question for Jagannath Gopal. We have a few minutes, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no one. I can serve you for sure.
Thank you. So Lord Nityananda is known to be an avadut, somebody who is beyond rules and regulations. So us as sadhakas or practicing devotees, how do we worship Lord Nityananda? Are we expected to go beyond rules and regulations, and in what way? And what do we make of this personality who is beyond rules and regulations?
And Lord Nityananda is Balaramji himself. So he's in the category of the Supreme Lord. So definitely what he does is it's not only Lord Nityananda, but even pure devotees. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that what is that? Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vidneha Anabhujaya. So even an intelligent, a learned man, Vidneha, doesn't understand the activities, cannot understand the activities of a Vaishnava, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra. So what to speak of someone like Lord Nityananda? That is one thing. And how does it apply in our lives? I have thought about it. So rules and regulations are important because like there is this whole uh, two, I guess, ends to this whole conversation about you have to follow rules and regulations. And then the other thing is, oh no, rules and regulations can be a hindrance to your bhakti. So there is no need to do that. But then there has to be a balance, and that balance has to be struck with the help of our guides, our mentors, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. But then just to simplify it, what I feel is the sincere, the sincere I guess, desire of the heart, the sincere longing of the heart, what is going on internally. In one way, it cannot be checked by any external rules and regulations. Although we may have to follow external rules and regulations so that we don't let our minds take over. But at the same time, the expression of our heart, that can be, you know, as much with depth of, depth of love, depth of integrity, depth of authenticity as much as we can. So there, that cannot be checked by rules and regulations because that is beyond, right? The love that the heart has for Krishna, that is bhakti. And bhakti cannot be checked by any rules and regulations. Bhakti is a transcendental process. So that internal expression is in one sense unchecked. But then of course that internal expression, when it comes out also, it comes through the filter of the mind. And depending on how we have trained our minds in the past, it could come out in different ways, which may not be very good. That is why we have rules and regulations, so that the mind speculation doesn't take over. But then yeah, when it is our private meditation with Krishna, we can try to be as much deep, as deep as we can, as I don't know, loving as we can. So I don't know if that helps, Prabhu.
Yeah, it does tremendously. Yeah. Bhakti cannot be regulated. There can be an executive order that everyone should love God, but the rules and regulations can facilitate bhakti, can facilitate and train our mind. Check. The mind should be regulated, not bhakti, if anything. Cool. Thank you. Gail has her hand up.
Hare Krishna, my question is also for Jagannath Gopal Prabhu, because Prabhu, you mentioned in the chat a subject that has always been, bothering me, about the order in which we pay obeisances. So I get a little confused when it comes to that because, there are different deities in different orders in the temple, and it gets a little confusing to me as to whom should I, approach first, because, if you go from, I don't want to say bottom to top, you know what I mean. I don't mean in that way, but, sometimes the deities, that you come in contact first or see first is not, is possibly not the deity form or the divine personalities that we should pay obeisances to first. So, how is there a general rule for the order in which you pay your obeisances, regardless of how the divine personalities are set up in the temple?
So what I've heard is I can definitely give you a few inputs here. So what I have heard is the sequence is usually our own guru. Actually, I add something to it. I add the devotees present in the temple, because the devotees present in the temple are the ones who took me to my guru. It's not that I'm qualified to go to my guru on my own. So the devotees cultivated me to go to my guru. So I first offer obeisances, vanchakalpatarobhyascha, to the devotees. Then I offer obeisances to Guru. Then I offer obeisances to Prabhupada. Then to the gurus in the parampara. Then Nityananda Prabhu. Then Lord Chaitanya. Then Murlidhar. Then Radharani. And actually, first is Radharani. Then is Murlidhar. And then I do Panchatattva and Narsimhadev and others. And I pray to some of the demigods that I've been worshipping through my family. So that's the typical sequence that I follow. Now, there is a internal reason for that sequence also, as we were just discussing rules and regulations. This is somewhat like a regulation that we can't directly jump over to the Lord. But at the same time, that does not mean that when I open the door of the temple room and go and I see the deities, and the deities are so beautiful, it's not that I need to check my ecstasy to, oh, no, I have to first offer obeisances to gurus and whatever, Lord Nityananda, Lord Mahaprabhu, and then only I can. No, that's not the point of it. We can definitely be ecstatic, definitely be happy to see the deities. We can also greet the deities. But then in our heart, we need to understand, as even Jai Nitai Prabhu mentioned, that I'm feeling this ecstasy seeing these deities, and that ecstasy can actually take me in a grateful state towards my fellow Vaishnavas, towards my guru. Like, I'm feeling so happy seeing these deities. So actually, let me offer my obeisances to the Vaishnavas, to my guru first, to Lord Nityananda, to Lord Mahaprabhu, because of whose mercy I am feeling this ecstasy, I am feeling this happiness seeing the deities. And that way, so it's a matter of the heart, in the sense that we can't directly approach the Lord, but there is no such thing that we have to check our happiness after seeing the deities. We can definitely be happy, and yeah, as I said, it's a very beautiful thing again, that the guru takes us to Krishna, and Krishna, before even that, Krishna in our hearts as Chaitya Guru or Paramatma takes us to the guru, and then we receive initiation from the guru, and whatever we try to practice bhakti with the help of the Vaishnavas, and then the guru in turn takes us to Krishna. So it's both ways. You could see it both ways. So when you feel happiness after seeing the deities, you don't have to check it. But at the same time, when you offer obeisances, you can thank Guru, you can thank Prabhupada, Nityananda Mahaprabhu, that thank you for giving me this happiness. Because at least I can say that before I came to Bhakti, when I would enter the temple, I wouldn't feel happy, so to say. Yeah, these are deities, yeah, whatever. They have dressed them very beautifully, so kudos to that. But yeah, they are, after all, they are stones and whatnot. I didn't understand the nitty-gritties behind the significance. So yeah, but now when we see the deities, we say, oh, this is the Lord, so beautiful, thank you. And that love is coming because of the mercy of all these other personalities. So I hope that helps. And
so you say that we don't have to check our happiness. I mean, of course we shouldn't check our happiness, but still, although we should not check our happiness, we still should offer obeisances, like so often when you step into the temple room, the beauty of the dressing of the deities, can be very like compelling, so but we shouldn't are you saying that we shouldn't allow that to keep us from offering obeisances still in this proper order?
No, you could offer obeisances, but after you offer obeisances to the deities, you can think that I am feeling this desire, I am feeling so much happiness to offer obeisances to the Lord. And that is because devotees have been favorable towards me. Devotees have trained me to see the Lord that way. And that way you come back. That's like Krishna takes us to devotees, devotees take us to Krishna. That's the reciprocal relationship. It's something the way I see it. It may be different for different devotees, but yeah, just the way I see it. Sometimes you can't just contain yourself. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I mean, then if it's so beautiful, then if I'm saying no, I have to offer obeisances to the guru and everybody in that sequence, which is good. But then I can express my happiness to the Lord. Lord, you're looking so beautiful, and then I can say that I offer my gratitude to the Vaishnavas, to everyone, because they have brought me to you.
Right.
And I
Right.
can continue taking my darshan.
Uh-huh.
That way it will be like a complete. And even when we offer bhoga, for example, this whole sequence is always there. We chant the Guru mantras first, and then because nothing that we do can directly reach Krishna in one sense, because we are not qualified through our gurus, through the Guru Parampara, and then all the way to Krishna. So we actually are in one sense offering bhoga to the Guru, and we are requesting him that Prabhupada, please take this and give it to Krishna. And Krishna will be pleased by getting it from Prabhupada more than getting it from us directly. It is coming from us also, because we are the ones making that offering. But then because we are going through Krishna, as Prabhuji mentioned, going through the Vaishnavas, Krishna is more pleased. So I don't know. I hope that answers your question,
No,
Madhu.
no, that was very helpful, Prabhu. Thank you so much. You're referring that our mood should be, if we're approaching any body, we should understand how we got there.
Yes.
That mood should be there. That gratitude.
Yeah. Definitely.
Thank you.
And thank you. And how we got there is by mercy of Lord Nityananda. He goes to the most fallen. He does not discriminate. He's our guru, representative of the guru, who brought us to Krishna and the devotees. Jai. Okay, so we're gonna ask Joshua and Oliver to unmute themselves and say Hare Krishna to complete the yagya. Joshua, did you go back to sleep? No, there he is.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. That was very sweet. Thank you, dear devotees. Have a wonderful day. Happy Nityananda Trayodashi. See you again tomorrow.